Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm in the Client Training and Education Department here at TradeStation, and it is a pleasure to be doing this Getting Started with TradeStation desktop with all of you here. We're going to take the next 60 minutes to talk about TradeStation platform. I'm going to show you some very interesting functionality in the areas of charting, trading, and scanning. We have our hands, pretty much full with all the content that I want to provide you. But before I do so, I have a couple of announcements to make. For a few minutes, you've been looking at a slide here for the TradeStation Masterclass. The TradeStation Masterclass is an in-person live event where we meet with TradeStation users to learn about the TradeStation platform, to learn about strategy trading, and to learn about easy language. It's an excellent opportunity for you to meet other TradeStation users and to network with other traders. We have also prepared an incredible lineup of professional traders to come and join us for lunch and learn sessions. And it's great for them, and it's great opportunity for you to get an expert viewpoint on the markets, and they'll be sharing their expertise with all of us here at the TradeStation Masterclass. The one upcoming is going to be right here in Florida, the city of Plantation. This is where the TradeStation headquarters are. So if you can join us, the dates are August 5th through the 9th. That would be excellent. We have 2 days of platform training, 1 day of strategy development, and 2 days of easy language programming. It's a full day. It's a full week of classes. And if you're interested in learning more about this event, please click on the link that Nico has provided us here in the chat, and it'll provide you more information about the class, what it entails, and everything about it. If you have any questions about any of these events, you're welcome to email us at learning@tradestation.com. By the way, Nico is my colleague here. He's going to be working the chat and providing us information as we present it here in class. I also want to announce that we're doing Options Stars. This is an in-person event as well. It's October 3rd through the 5th. This is an opportunity to meet options traders. And this event is hosted by our Sarah Potter, founder of You Can Trade, and also Larry McMillan, president of Macmillan Analysis Corporation. They'll be hosting live trading. It's a 2.5-day event, and the link is also right there in the chat window if you'd like to learn about Option Stars. These are 2 events you don't want to miss: the TradeStation Masterclass and Option Stars. By the way, the TradeStation Masterclass is being delivered in different locations. The one upcoming is right here in Plantation, Florida, but we have another class scheduled for the month of September in the city of London, England. So if you want to travel, if you haven't visited London before, maybe it's an opportunity to take some time off and get to know the city of London. We're going to be in London, UK, and you're welcome to attend the masterclass there. We have a link for the London masterclass. If you click on the same masterclass link that Nico submitted in the chat, you're going to find 2 tabs, one for Plantation and the other one for London if you're interested in the London class. Getting Started with TradeStation is a 3-part class. Today, we're going to do the TradeStation desktop. That's the one you install on your computer. We have 2 other classes, one on OptionStation Pro, and a 3rd one on web and mobile. All the classes are repeated every week. On Tuesdays, we do the desktop class. On Wednesday, we do OptionStation Pro, and on Thursdays, we do web and mobile. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do a follow-up class titled Ask the TradeStation Experts. It's just a way of you coming and joining us in class and asking any questions related to the TradeStation platform. It's an open forum. It's very casual. We talk about everything you want to talk about. You join us, you ask the questions, and I try to demonstrate an answer during the live presentation. So we are going to have that today at 12 p.m. That's after this TradeStation desktop class. So you're all invited to join. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that I talk about here today is for educational purposes only. It is not a recommendation of TradeStation. Also, active trading is not suitable for everyone. And please read more about our disclosures by going to the TradeStation website or clicking on the link that Nico is going to be sending there on the disclosures. Okay, let me switch over here to my TradeStation platform and let's get this class started. I've already connected to my TradeStation platform. If you already use the TradeStation platform, this may already look familiar to you. I want to point to a few things here before I get started. First of all, I want everybody to look at the three tabs right here on the top. Okay, because those three tabs are drop-down menus that provide you different functionality within the platform. If I come over here and I click on or hover over any of these tabs, you're going to see that apps drops a collection of buttons. If I hover over trade, I get a trade bar. And if I hover over position graph bar, I get a bar that lists any open positions that I have in my account. Now, the position graph bar is something that I like to keep visible at all times, especially if I have any open positions. You can see that there's two boxes in here, one for Bank of America. You see the symbol right in here, and you see a box for Cisco, CSCO. And if I hover over any of these boxes, I get this little data tips window providing me information about my position, the price that I got in at, and my current P&L. So if you have any open positions, you may want to have this bar at the top of TradeStation because you can always keep an eye on your positions and see if you have to react to anything that is happening to them. So if you want to have any of these bars docked and fixed to the top of your platforms, just use the push pin right here on the left-hand side. Every bar is going to have one, and click on it. It's the auto hide. Once you click on that push pin, you're going to see how the position graph bar remains on top. And that is true for every bar here. If you want to have the trade bar always visible at the top of TradeStation, you see the push pin right here for the trade bar. Otherwise, you have to come over here and hover over it to see it, which is fine. We provide you different ways in which you can access the functionality, so you have to choose the way that is most comfortable to you. Another thing that I wanted to show you is the TradeStation Today workspace. If you've logged into TradeStation already, or if this is the first time you're doing it, you're probably seeing a workspace titled TradeStation Today. On my TradeStation, I've closed it, and that's why you only see an empty desktop, but you can always bring it back. The way that you bring up that workspace is by going to Apps, and you find a button here at the top that says TS Today. That's the way you open it. I'm going to open it just for a few moments so that I can talk through it and show you what's available here. Every time that we launch a new version of TradeStation, you get this dialog whenever an update is applied, letting you know what's new or what has been fixed on TradeStation. I'm just going to click on the X right here on the far right. And I'm going to point to a few things here that I want to show you. For example, right here on the top left, we have a featured video. You know, there's a drop down right here that allows you to select different videos. As we do presentations at TradeStation and we record them, sometimes we feature those videos inside of the TradeStation Today workspace, and you have some controls right here below the video player that allow you to do a playback. We also have a section right here below that allows you to select or open up sample workspaces. In this class, we're not going to use any of the sample workspaces. We're going to create our own. So we're going to start from scratch. But if you are looking for ideas on how to organize your TradeStation applications, the TradeStation workspaces are great for that purpose. Right here in the middle, which doesn't show anything, it's usually filled with a TradeStation social feed. I'm not sure why mine is not loading the tweets, but this is the place where the tweets would show up. And over here on the right-hand side, we have a calendar of events. We have some dates on the far right. You just click on the date, and it allows you to see what's upcoming. And we provide you a convenient register button right there in the TradeStation Today workspace. All these events that you see here in the TradeStation Today workspace are also posted in the TradeStation University. This is just like a quick access to those events without leaving your TradeStation platform. So this is the TradeStation today. You can see that the TradeStation today opens up as a TradeStation workspace tab. So I'm able to close it by right-clicking on it and selecting Close Workspace. Again, if you want to access that workspace, just go to Apps, and you find the TS Today button right here on the top. Perfect. Let's go ahead and create a workspace of my own. And the way that I'm going to do that is by clicking on this plus at the bottom left of your TradeStation platform. Every time you need a new tab or a new layout, just click on the plus right there at the bottom. So let me go ahead and click on the plus. Notice how the tab says Untitled Workspace, because this is something that I haven't saved yet. So as I open up applications inside of this workspace, I do have the option to save it. Let's go ahead and open up an application. Hover over Apps, and I'm going to click on Chart Analysis, which is the first one that I'm going to show you. Chart Analysis opens up a chart window. It will load the last symbol that you were looking at. In this case, I was looking at Bank of America, and that's why you see BAC on the top left corner of my chart. These windows, by the way, can be adjusted and resized to any shape and form. There is a title bar right here that allows you to move the windows around as well. If you need another chart, just go to the apps again and click on Chart Analysis a second time, and it opens up a second chart for you. You can arrange windows the way that I have it here on my TradeStation by going to the window menu and use the arrange all or arrange horizontally or vertically. Right now, you see my charts arranged, side by side in a vertical manner. If I say arrange horizontally, notice how it arranges the windows. So the window menu gives you that ability to organize your windows if you want to do a quick arrange of everything that's open inside of your workspace. For now, I'm just going to work with one single chart. So let me go ahead and click off one of these. So I'm just going to click on the X on the top right corner and resize it so that it fills up the whole area. One thing that I'm going to show you first is how to maneuver the chart. First of all, on your keyboard, find the up arrow and the down arrow keys, because those are going to be very useful to expand and contract the chart. If I use the up arrow and I press it multiple times, take a look at what's happening to my chart. It's opening up and it's adding more spaces in between candles. Very useful. If you do the down arrow key on the keyboard and you press it multiple times, the opposite happens. You are compressing the chart. You are reducing the bar spacing. Another thing you can do is you can grab your mouse. You can click on any of the candles, and you can tell that as soon as I put my cursor on top of the candles, you can see the arrow, it turns into a little hand. The hand implies that you can grab the candles and move them in any direction. Let me click there. You can see that I move to the bottom. I can move to the top in any direction. I can also, take my cursor and put it right here on the price scale on the far right. And I can click and drag up if I want more detail in that price scale. Or I can click and drag down if I want to have a bigger range of prices. So it's up to you to maneuver on the chart and feel what's comfortable. As soon as you start moving the chart around, because notice how it changed the actual scale, I can always reset it to the way that it was before. I just have to take my cursor and bring it to the bottom of the chart. You're going to see that as soon as you bring it below or at the bottom of the chart, you're going to see some buttons right here on the chart. Now, the first two are increase and decrease bar spacing, which I showed you how to do using the up arrow and the down arrow. But you're also welcome to choose or click on those buttons there at the bottom left. You also have some zoom in or zoom out button. And you have the reset button right here at the bottom, which resets the scaling. So if you do that, you can see how the chart goes back to the way it was. So a few things to maneuver around the chart. The click and drag and also the reset buttons at the bottom will be very helpful if you want to pay attention to certain sections of the chart. The time frame and the symbol can be changed very easily on a chart. Let's suppose that It is not Bank of America that I want to look at. It is Apple. The way that I change the symbol on the chart is by typing it in. And you're going to find out that it's very, very simple to do on any application inside of TradeStation. As soon as I start typing AAPL, you're going to see that there is this little command line that shows up right there in the middle of the screen. Now, the command line is going to show up as soon as you start pressing keys on the keyboard. That happens automatically. I did not have to click somewhere on TradeStation to get it. As soon as you press a key, even if it's a space bar, the command line will pop up. You can see what I just typed inside of there. You can see the symbol right in there, AAPL. And all I need to do is hit the Enter key. So on my keyboard, I'm going to click the Enter key, and it takes the symbol change. This is true for every application inside of TradeStation. You just need to type in the symbol, hit Enter, and TradeStation will take the change. If you want to change the time frame, let me go here to time frame. And let's say that I want to see a daily chart of Apple. I just go to the time frame drop down and I select daily. There it is. That's the daily chart of Apple. Let me open it up using my up arrow key. And there we go. If you go to the time frame drop down and you don't find the time frame you're looking for, you have a customize option right there in this drop down that'll take you to the edit symbol dialog. Let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. It's going to come back in a moment. Maybe not. Let's try that again. Time frame, customize. There we go. This is the customize symbol dialog. And in here, you can change, the time frame. Let's say that you wanted to do something like a 144 tick bar. So you can just type in the number in there, and TradeStation will take the change. One thing that I've gotten used to is to type in the time frame that I want. The same way that you type in a symbol to change the symbol on a chart, you can also type in the time frame. And I use that a lot. Instead of going to the time frame drop down right here on the top left, sometimes I just type it in. So if I want to use a 5-minute chart, I just type in 5 space MIN. You can see right there inside the command line, the command that I just typed in, it's 5-minute. And all I need to do is hit the Enter key on my keyboard. If you type in the word daily and hit Enter, it gives you a daily chart. If you type in the word weekly, it gives you a weekly chart of Apple. So feel free to type in the commands. It's going to save you a lot of time. I like that shortcut. Okay. By the way, the chat here, you can use it to send me questions, and I'll glance over at the chat once in a while to see if I can answer any questions live. If the question is off topic, if it's something not related to what I'm showing you here, I would recommend you come to my follow-up class, Ask the Experts, which is a great opportunity to ask questions. So as long as the question is somewhat related to what I'm discussing, I'll be glad to answer it live. Keep in mind that the chat is public. It is visible by everyone that is here connected, and also visible to anyone who watches the archive. So let's take a look. Let's see. How do we define how many candles does the chart display? All right. This is a question from Kirill. Thank you for your question. Very good question. Whenever you load a specific interval or time interval, TradeStation will load a specific amount of historical data. And that's exactly what he's asking about, how much data there is. One thing that you can do is do the request using the command line. So let me close up my chart here. Press the down arrow key multiple times. You can see that if I press the down arrow multiple times so that it squeezes all the historical data onto one side, you can see there's a black area on the right side. That black just means that there's not enough data to fill up the whole chart. If you want to fill the whole chart, you now have to request the data. And the way that I explained it to you, you can do a keyboard request. So on a weekly chart, this chart may go about 10 years back. You can see how the years are right here in the time scale. This goes back to 2009. But let's put up more years here. Let me do 30 years. And you're going to see that I'm just typing that in inside the command line. You can see how it shows up. And I'm going to hit enter. And now I see 30 years of Apple right here on my screen. Okay, so whenever you want to fill up the chart, if you have any empty space, just make a historical request. You can do it, you can request years, you can request days. If you want to do, oh, I want to see 30 days of 1 minute data, you can do that, or you can do weeks as well. You can do, let me show me 52 weeks or something like that. And TradeStation will show you that. All right, so let's go ahead and save the workspace. To save a workspace, I'm going to right click on this workspace tab and click on Save Workspace. I'm going to call this My Chart. And you can see how the tab right here at the bottom is named My Chart. I see a question here from Pete. He's asking, how do I delete a workspace? The workspace, in order for you to delete a workspace, first of all, you need to close it. So it cannot be open in TradeStation if you're going to delete it. And what I recommend if you want to really delete a workspace is you're going to just go here to the File menu, Workspaces, and in the list of workspaces, I'm going to go here to Open Workspace to see what workspaces are available. If I go to Open Workspace, from this menu, you can just right-click on any file that you don't need any longer, and then you can press Delete. So it's from the Windows Explorer that you right-click on a file and press Delete. But I always like to access my list of workspaces from within TradeStation. Just go to File, Workspaces, Open Workspaces. It gives you a list of the workspaces, and just right-click on the file you don't want and select Delete. Just remember that the workspace needs to be closed in order for you to be able to delete it. Let me show you where analysis techniques and indicators are. I'm going to show you how to do one study, because every study is added and formatted in the exact same way. So I'm going to add a study that everyone here is familiar with, which is a moving average two-line. Let's go to Studies, click on Add Study. All right, and here's the moving average two-line. I'm going to click OK. And there they are. Very simple. Very straightforward. Anytime that you need something to put on the chart, just go to the Studies button, go to Add Study. You're going to find dozens and dozens of different studies that you can add to TradeStation. Go through the list and see if you find the one you're looking for. The list of studies in TradeStation can be complemented with different studies that are available in the Trading App Store and also in the community of TradeStation users that share custom analysis techniques and strategies. So you're not limited to what comes supplied with TradeStation. You can pretty much import and add anything to your platform. So if you're looking for something and you don't find it inside of the platform, you may want to go to the Trading App Store or go to the forums and ask if it is available. One thing that I'm going to show you now is how to format or customize the moving averages that are on the screen. Okay. Let's see. Sammy's asking, does this WebTrader run easy language scripts? WebTrader is another platform that we have that is web-based. It does not run easy language. If you want to learn about web trading, join me on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. That's the class where I show how to use web trading. Let's see. How come there's no VWAP I've been looking for? Yes, we don't have an indicator or a study for VWAP in charting. We have VWAP in radar screen, and we have VWAP in matrix, but not as a charting indicator. However, if you search the Trading App Store or if you search the Easy Language library, you're going to find different studies that will provide you historical calculations on VWAP. The moving averages that I have on the screen, I want to format them. I want to make them a different parameter. You notice that I just put them on the chart and I didn't have to specify how many periods each one of those lines would be using for the calculation. I can modify that. Let's say that I want to do a 30 versus a 50. A quick way for you to edit a study is by double-clicking on it. Now, you have to be precise and double-click on the lines. Let me show you. I double-click on the lines and it takes me to Customize Indicator. If you, by any chance, miss the line, let's say that you double click on you think you're double clicking on the line and you wind up clicking on the background, it'll take you to a different place. It'll say customize window. That's not what I want. You can see how double clicking on items on TradeStation takes you to a window where you can customize it. So this is not where I want. I want to double click on the line to go to customize indicator. And in the inputs tab is where I supply the parameters that I'm going to use. In this case, I'm going to use a 30 and a 50. Notice that I'm just putting in there for the fast length and the slow length. I can change other parameters if I want to, but for now, I'm just going to use those two. I click OK, and you can see how the calculation of those lines change. You can see how the lines adjust automatically, and now they're using 30 and 50 rather than using the default parameters. So that's a way to do the moving averages. That is the way to do every study in TradeStation. Double click on it, access the inputs, and it gives you the ability to format it. Okay. Boris, to resize the window, I'm not sure if you're referring to the up and down arrow. Down arrow key reduces the scale. Up arrow key on the keyboard. These are keys on your keyboard. The up arrow key on your keyboard will add more space in between the candles. Hopefully that's what you're looking for. I see a question from Blaze. How can I get iced coffee futures? We do have futures. You'd have to search for the symbol though. I don't have the symbol from the top of my head, but on a chart, if you press the space bar, for example, and you get the command line, you get this little magnifying glass on the right-hand side, which is a symbol lookup. Just click there, and you can search futures here and look for any futures contract you're looking for. Charles is asking, will you show futures applications later? I could be showing future symbols. We don't have a specific futures application. Only for futures options, but in this case, the functionality that I'm showing you is applicable to any asset that you're trading. Right now, I'm showing a stock, which is Apple, but I can be doing this on futures, and I can be doing this on options as well. Okay, all right, perfect. All right. Can you overlay indicators in the same pane, such as volume and OBV in one pane? You certainly can. If you're joining me and Ask the Experts, that I can show you a couple things. But if you want a quick answer, you can just click on one study and drop it on top of the other. Try that, and if it doesn't work, join me and Ask the Experts, and I'll demonstrate that for you. All right. Sorry, meant how to open multiple windows. To open just another window, just go to the apps. And you have all the applications in there. So if you want multiple chart analysis windows, you just have to go to apps and click on chart analysis. You do that multiple times, as many times as the number of windows that you need. All right. One thing that I wanted to show you here in studies, let me see how my time is right now. And I knew that I was going to go fall behind, but it's fine. It's all good because we're learning about the platform. One thing that I wanted to show you is setting up alerts. That study that I have right there on the chart is a moving average two-line. One is fast, the other slow. What we're looking for is for the lines to cross. If you look over here on the front of the chart, these lines are about to cross. This is the weekly chart, so it may take a while. But if I change the time frame, remember that the studies in TradeStation are sensitive to the time frame. If you have a weekly chart, every candle takes a week to build. So let me change this to a daily chart. All right, come on. This is not taking my keyboard commands. Let's see, daily. There we go. So this is a daily chart. So now the lines are not about to cross, but if they cross, I want to be alerted. Very simple to do. And this is true for every study that you put in TradeStation. Double click on the lines. This is customize indicator. I'm going to go to the alerts tab, and all you need to do is put a check here that says enable alert. That's all you do, because the alert criteria is already programmed into the study. So as a user, I just have to come here, enable alert. Of course, I can click on this configure button. If I want to change, the sound that gets triggered, if I want to change, how the pop-up window shows up, or even if I want to set up an email to be sent to my email address, if an alert gets triggered, all that is available here. but I wanted to show you how to enable the alert in this class, which is very simple to do. Once I click OK, the alert is turned on. So as soon as those moving averages cross, I'm going to get an alert. So I can be doing something else and not have to be glued right here in front of this chart. I'm going to open up a new workspace. And if you remember, I'm going to use the plus right here at the bottom left of my TradeStation. The plus allows you to create new workspaces. So let's go ahead and click on that plus. And you can see that I have another untitled workspace. And I'm going to come here at the top of my TradeStation to apps, and I'm going to open up the matrix. The matrix is a great order entry tool in TradeStation, and I'm going to demonstrate why. Let's click matrix. It opens up right here in my TradeStation. Let me resize this window so that I can manage it better. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to increase the font a little bit so that you can see it better on the screen. So let me go to font. Oh, by the way, if you want to change the font to any window, and this is true for any study, for any application in TradeStation, you have a settings button allowing me to go to window, settings window, and this allows me to change the font in most applications. I'm going to change this to a 12 and bold. That's fine. I'm going to set it as a default. And there it is. That's a little easier to see on your screens. All right, this is Apple. To change the symbol on any of these applications, you just have to type the symbol in. Let me change this to Twitter. TWTR is a symbol for Twitter. And let's talk about what we see right here in the matrix. And before I continue on the matrix, let me see if there's any other questions here. Do you guys send alerts to cell phone via text messages? If you go to the email settings so that you can set up an email alert, I believe there's a checkbox that allows you to do text messages. For doing text messages, it's not as simple as putting in your phone number. It'll require you to find what is the email address for your text messages or text messaging service. It's a little bit more complicated, but you can always contact our technical support department, and they'll walk you through the steps of setting it up. Nico is going to be sending the contact information there for our support team. They are available 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. So whenever you have any questions on TradeStation, feel free to give them a call. How do you set up an alert to be triggered only when 2 studies conditions are met? Carlos, that's a great question. And the only way to do that is by building your own study that combines the 2 studies. You know, most of the time you have one study, you turn on the alert, but what you're talking about is having 2 different studies trigger an alert if they are true or they met the conditions both at the same time. The only way to do that is easy language. Easy language, for those that are not familiar with easy language, is a TradeStation proprietary programming language that allows you to create custom studies. So this would be a custom study that says, okay, if my MACD and my Bollinger Bands are both triggering the alert, that's when I want you to give me an alert, when both of these studies are true. That has to be customized, and easy language is the answer to that. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the matrix. Twitter is trading right now at 41.55. You see the current price. Let me turn on my drawing tools here for a moment so I can point to things. All right, so let me use a square. Twitter's right here. The gray price that's fluctuating up and down, that's the current price of Twitter, 41.56. The number on the left is how many shares have been traded last. That's the last reported trade. Right here in the blue, we see orders that are sitting, waiting to get filled. These are the buy orders. So the blue column are the buyers, and the red column over here are the sellers. And you can see how many shares are waiting at each one of these price levels. That's an interesting concept, because if you notice over here at 41.69, there's about 1,248 shares being sold at that precise level. Market depth is what this is called. So if you brought up the matrix in your TradeStation and you don't see, you know, these numbers in the blue or the numbers in the red, is because your account is not enabled for this data. This is something that is optional. you can go to the client center and get all these data packages turned on. So you can see all the buyers and all the sellers that are sitting there for any market. This is over the market overall. This is a connection direct from the exchange. This is not just TradeStation orders. Okay, so keep that in mind. So if you're going to buy something, we're going to concentrate on the blue column, or if you're going to sell something, of course, we're going to click on the actual red column. Let's suppose that I want to buy Twitter at $41.50, right here where my cursor is. As soon as I hover over the blue, I want you to see what happens. You know, I'm just hovering. I haven't even clicked, and it's already showing me a visual of the order that is going to be submitted. Take a look at what it says right there on the left-hand side. It says buy 500 limit. The 500 is the quantity, and that can be changed, of course. Over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to change the quantity to 1,000. 1,000 shares of Twitter. And I'm going to change the duration to GTC. All orders in TradeStation by default are set to day, which means that if you put in an order, it'll be canceled at the end of the day. If you want the order to remain there for several trading sessions, just make sure to change something that is different than day. Like GTC, it's good till cancel. So I'm going to come over here, join the blue, hover over the price that corresponds to the price that I want, which is $41.50, and I'm going to click once. And as soon as I click, my order is submitted. If you're doing this in your own TradeStation, you probably got a confirmation window because confirmations are turned on by default. This is a way of double checking your order, making sure that that's exactly what you want to trade, and for you to look at how much it's going to cost you before you put in the trade. So confirmations are a safeguard, but if you are, doing quick trades in and out, if you're scalping, and sometimes these confirmations are getting in the way, you can disable them. Right there on that same confirmation window, you find a checkbox that allows you to disable that window. That's what I've done on my TradeStation, and that is exactly why when I clicked on the blue, it didn't give me a confirmation. The order went through directly. Very quick, one-click order entry. The current price is $41.59. My order is falling or staying behind. I want to increase my chances of getting filled, so I'm going to change my order to $41.55. I'm going to raise it up 5, and Matrix makes it very simple to do that by clicking and dragging. I click on the box, hold it, move it up 5 cents. You can see how it trails 5 cents, and I'm going to release it here and drop it right there. That, cancels the original order and enters a new one. Beautiful functionality, simple to use right here in the Matrix. I also see, by looking at the Matrix, what the current selling price is. I know the sellers, or the best selling price, is right here, $41.59, because that's where the shares are being sold for. If I want $41.58, there's no availability there. So market depth also allows me to see what prices are available for me. If I want to buy my 1,000 shares of Twitter, I have to hit the selling price. So let me go ahead and drag my order to $41.57, where the sellers are. And as soon as I do that, I get filled. Take a look. I like the visual of the Matrix because it gives you this blue bar letting you know where you got filled. I got filled at $41.57. And I also see a P&L on the left-hand side. That is convenient because I see what my current position is doing at the moment. My position size is right here. You see how position column shows 1,000? I have 1,000 shares of Twitter. And every time that it goes up a penny or drops a penny, that is $10 in my account. That's a penny times 1,000. I can use the P&L right here to set a target and a stop. Take a look. I'm hovering over the P&L, and you can see that under the orders column, you can see the instructions, sell 1,000, stop market. So if I click on this negative 100, that's my stop right there. I just clicked once, the stop was there, and that red box is or represents my stop. To cancel orders here in the Matrix is very simple too. Take your cursor, put it on top of your order. It says cancel order right on it. So by just clicking it once, the order goes away. You can do the same thing here for the target. If you click on a positive number, you're setting a target. That's a selling transaction to sell at 41.67. I click on the order to cancel it. If you're looking for trailing stops, I know a lot of people use trailing stops. You can come over here to the right-hand side. Notice how you have a buy trailing stop blue button, and you have a sell trailing stop red button. These buttons are going to work with the boxes that are right below them. You can set a trailing stop on a percentage basis or points. If it's by points and you say, I want to sell my Twitter position with a, let's say, a 10-cent trail. I change it to 10. I put in a selling transaction. And there's my sell order right there, submitted with a trail of 10 cents. So right here, as the market goes in my favor, the order will trail and get closer to the current trading price. Okay, so let me go ahead and cancel that order. Because ideally, what you want to do is you want to do a full setup, more like a trade that you can just set it and then leave it. Because you've set your entries and targets and stops all within one trade. This is called an OCO and OSO. Let me show you how that works. For that, I'm going to switch the symbol to a futures for those that are interested in trading futures. I'm going to go to MESU19. This is our micro futures. If you haven't learned about them, it's just 1/10 of the value of the regular E-mini contract. It becomes a little bit more affordable if you're looking for something to trade on the futures markets. Micros are having or gaining a lot of popularity. So take a look at them. The symbol is MESU19. Let's suppose that I want to trade this. But with my trade, I want to set my target and I also want to set my stop. So to do that, I need to use some check boxes and some functionality here. So let's suppose that I want to buy this micro at this price, 3012, 3012 even. I want to buy it there, but if it goes up 2 points, I want to sell it and capture that 2 gain profit. But if it drops 1 point, I want to sell it. Let's set that up here using this checkbox on the right-hand side that says attach an OSO. OSO, for those that are not familiar, is an order sends order. I'm just going to do one. It's a simple concept. I'm just setting up a trade where I have an entry and I'm already taking care of my target and my stop. There's a drop down here with different templates that you can choose from. I'm going to choose the very top one, the bracket, 1 limit, 1 stop, meaning that I have an all-inclusive trade. I click on the ellipsis here on the right-hand side, and I have my limit and my stop. We set that we wanted a target of 2 points. Now, if you're familiar with the way that the prices move, you know that prices in the micros move by quarters of points. So if I want 2 whole points, I have to express that here in minimum price increments. There's 4 quarters in every point, meaning that to get a 2-point movement, I need 8 minimum increments. So my target is going to be at 8 minimum ticks or ticks movements, and my stop is going to be at 4. I click OK. That's all I need to do to set the distance of my target and my stop. And now I just have to come here and click on what I want to buy. I said that I wanted to buy this at 3012. So I'm going to hover over this and click. And as soon as I click, I want you to see what's going on here. You see the blue box? The blue box is my order to buy. And it follows 2 other darker gray boxes. Those are my exits. They're not red yet. They're not selling transactions yet because they are connected to that blue order. It's not until that blue order gets filled that my exits get activated. And this is something really, really cool to do. If I want to raise my entry price from 3012 to 3013, I just click on the primary, raise it up, and you can see how the other 2 orders follow it because they are connected. It's an OSO, an order sends order. This is the type of trade that I can just leave it here and then work on something else, because not only do I have the entry criteria, I also have my exits. As soon as the the order gets filled, my orders will be activated. Let me go ahead and raise it up a little bit more to 3014 so that I can get filled. There we go. We got filled. You see the blue bar going horizontally. And at the same time, we have our targets and our stops right in there getting ready to get filled. At any given moment, you can click on any of these. If you want to change them to any different location, it's up to you. Let's see if there's any questions here that I can answer live. Let's see. I need to customize my real-time data feeds. Who should I contact to help me navigate that? Mark, please contact client services. They're great at letting you know what you need in order to trade certain markets. Also, the available data packages in the market center is confusing. Who can help navigate? Yes, client services. They'll explain to you if you're looking for something in particular. Let's say that you're interested. Like I had, we had one of the questions here said, I want to trade coffee. If you're not really sure what to turn on in order to get coffee data, then client services can help you with that. All right. Dave, I showed you how to enter a stop loss. You can do that very quickly using, the P&L here. Or you can just use the selling column, because you can also submit selling transactions by clicking on the red column. All right, so this is a futures trade. If you're looking to, let me go ahead and save this workspace. If you're looking to manage your orders and positions, let me show you another application that you're going to want to have open in your TradeStation. Let me open up another workspace. And the application is called the Trade Manager. The Trade Manager is right here. Do not confuse it with the Trade Manager analysis. Analysis is something else. I want just the Trade Manager. You open up the Trade Manager. This is the control center for everything that's happening in your account. You notice that you have tabs at the bottom. When you first open up the Trade Manager, it goes to the orders. So these are all the orders that are working in my account at the moment. And they're going to be color-coded based on what they're doing. If they're filled, they're going to be blue. If they're yellow, they're going to be canceled. And if they're gray, those are my active orders. Those are the ones that are working for me at the moment. So this is a very good way for you to keep an eye on all the orders that have been submitted in your account. I also like to go to the Positions tab right here at the bottom. Notice how the fourth tab is titled Positions. You go to the positions and you get all my open positions. I have Twitter, I have the micro S&P, I have Cisco, and I have Bank of America. They're all red, losing positions. That's how my accounts usually look, but you can see my open P&L at the moment. At the moment, I'm losing about $1,200. That's what the number in parentheses means. And again, any row that is in red just implies that you're losing money. Any row that is in green, you're making money. All right. So keep that in mind. Let me go over to scanning. We have about 12 minutes left, and I want to show you some great features that are in TradeStation to help you find trading opportunities. Let's see. Anis is saying, I tried the matrix in my demo yesterday, and it didn't work at all. Was there any problem yesterday? Anis, I'm not sure. If you have any technical problems with any of the applications in TradeStation, give our support team a call. They'll tell you up front if there's issues with the simulator, if there are issues with TradeStation. I didn't see any issues yesterday. I think I used my matrix yesterday, so I don't remember any problems. But at any time, for any technical problems, please contact support. Support right there in the chat. WinTube, I see your question. What is bars on chart? I'm not really sure what your question means. How do I set moving average 180? Again, if you have a moving average, just double click on the line and go to inputs. You can change the parameters in there. And if you want a cross line strategy, then you have to go into the strategies and insert the moving average. If you're interested in how to set up a strategy to trade on a moving average cross, please join me and ask the experts, and I'll demonstrate that, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at some other functionality here. I'm going to go over here to my tab and save it. This will be my Trade Manager. And I'm going to open up a brand new tab. Let's go to Apps, and I'm going to open up a scanning tool that we call radar screen. Radar screen is right here. I'm going to click it. The first time you open it, it's going to be blank. I'm going to show you how to do a scan very quickly. I'm going to scan the NASDAQ 100 stocks, and I'm going to look for any stocks that are crossing right now in moving averages, in the moving average two-line indicator. For that, first of all, I need to populate my radar screen with symbols. I'm going to go to the data, little button right here on the top, go to add symbol list, and NASDAQ 100 is one of the options right in there. Simple to use. If you want to do other symbol lists, go to other symbol lists here, and you can open up some of the prepackaged list of symbols that we supply with the platform. For now, for this demo, I'm just going to add the NASDAQ 100. And you can see that it goes right there on the screen. Let me open up these columns a little bit more. Okay, let me resize this radar screen because I like to have a chart right here on the side. So let me go to apps and click on chart analysis so that it opens up the chart analysis window and puts it right there on the side. Let me switch the order here. Window, arrange all. Okay, let me click on the radar screen title bar. Go to window and arrange all again. So I like my quotes on the left, my chart on the right. Let me resize this a little bit more because I want to include additional columns. All right. Let me turn the chart daily, the daily chart right there. And I'm going to add a study over here. The study is one that we used earlier, the moving average two-line. Okay, and there we go. So let's take a look at that study. And we talked about that earlier, that we're looking for crossovers. But wouldn't it be interesting if we could scan the markets and find the ones that are crossing right now? I mean, I may be interested in one particular product. Let's say that I'm interested in the micros. I put the moving averages and I'm just waiting for the lines to cross. But what if I wanted to know, out of all the 100 symbols in the NASDAQ, which ones are crossing right now? That's the type of scan that I'm going to show you right now. First of all, I'm going to add my study by clicking on the plus right here inside my radar screen. Notice how the very far right, on the very last column, there's a plus sign. And I'm going to look for the moving average two lines. You're going to see that the studies that you would usually see in charting are available right here in my radar screen. I'm going to add the moving average two lines. I'm going to move that down and click OK. All right, so let's take a look. All right, this is calculating the fast average and this low average. And one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to link my radar screen to my chart so that I don't have to change the symbol on the chart every single time. I can just click on the symbol from my radar screen and have the chart update to that symbol. It's very useful. So right here on the chart, I'm going to click on the chart to activate it. Right here, you have two buttons on the top on the title bar. One is for the symbol and the other is for the eye. You can link for the interval. You can link by symbol or you can link by time frame as well. I'm just going to keep it simple for this class. I'm going to click on the S and it turns it green. And I'm going to do the same thing right here in my radar screen. I'm going to click on my radar screen to activate it, and I'm going to click on the S for radar screen. As long as those two buttons are the same color, you've already linked those two applications. So notice what happens when I click on the symbols here. I'm going to click on CLAC, and CLAC gets loaded right here on my chart. I want you to look at CLAC because right here in my moving averages, let's say that I'm looking at my fast average right here, and I'm getting a value of 138.22. But the fast average right here in my moving average is 139.55. They don't match. Why? The reason why is because I have a daily interval in my chart, and I have a 5-minute interval right here in my radar screen. In order for the calculations to match, you have to use the same time frame. In order to change the time frame in radar screen, I'm going to click on the symbol column header because I want to adjust all the symbols, not only just one. I can click on just one and then change the time frame right here, but I don't just want one symbol. I want the whole column. So I click on the column header so it highlights the whole column. I'll go to time frame right here at the top, and I'll switch all the symbols to daily. You can see how it says daily right here in Arrow. Now I'll take a look at the calculation for CLAC. Now CLAC says 138 in the fast average, 22. And let me click on CLAC again. Okay, CLAC says 138, and you can see how the blue line says 138 here on my chart. So now they're in sync. So now we're looking at the same data. I want to see the ones that are crossing right now. So this is what I need to do. I need to turn on the alerts inside of radar screen so that if there's any symbol that is crossing right now, to give me an alert. Let me show you how to do that. In charting, I showed you that you can double click on the line. We don't want to do that here in radar screen because double clicking on the header is just going to sort the values. What we want to do here is we want to right click on the column header because we are going to format the whole column. Go to studies, and I'm going to edit the moving average to lines for all symbols. And this is where I turn on the alert. I'm going to turn on the alert. I'm going to set the alert to be continuous, but I'm going to disable sounds and pop-up messages. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm turning on an alert for 100 symbols at the same time. The least that I want is to have to click through 100 pop-up windows or have sirens going off all the time for all these different symbols. So I'm disabling the messaging, and I'll show you how you can see the alerts. Okay, so I've already turned the alert on. I want you to take a look at my column here and look at this marker right there, the one that is inside the green box. It's a red marker. For every symbol that the alert is triggered, you'll see a red marker. Otherwise, you'll see a little yellow marker. I know it's hard to see right here on the screen, but every cell now has a little yellow marker. If I scroll down, I see more. Let me scroll up because I was scrolled all the way to the bottom. You see right now, I see more. Take a look. I see one right here. I see two right here, back to back. So these are the markers that I'm looking for if I'm looking for real-time alerts. Let's go ahead and take a look at those symbols. Let me click on CDNS. CDNS. Okay, take a look at the chart over here on the right-hand side. What is happening right here on the current bar? You can see how the two lines are crossing. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at FAST, F-A-S-T. Look at what's happening here on the right-hand side. The two lines are crossing right now on the current candle. Let's look at a third one. Facebook is crossing right now. Take a look. The two lines are crossing on the current candle. So within minutes, we were able to scan the 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ 100 and find out which ones are crossing right now. I think that feature is very powerful. Again, you're not limited to what comes supplied on TradeStation. If your trading juices are flowing and you're thinking about an idea that you want to scan the markets with, you can do it. Put it on TradeStation, and you can trigger these real-time alerts. Let me take my radar screen one step further, because now that I have an alert already set, I only want to concentrate on the ones that are triggering the alert right now. In your radar screen, you're going to find a filter bar right here on the top, which enhances the feature. I don't have to, scroll up and down looking for these symbols that are triggering the alert. I can come here and say, filter this radar screen by using the moving average to line. Doesn't matter which one you select here. I'm going to not compare the value of the actual calculation. What I'm looking for is for the alert. So I set the alert, and I want the alert to be true. So notice what happens to my radar screen. My radar screen was filtered, and I'm only seeing the symbols that are crossing right now. Out of the 100 symbols that make up the NASDAQ 100, you have a total of 5 that are crossing right now based on the moving average criteria. So do you like the feature? I think it is very powerful, and the possibilities here are endless. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the questions, because I know that I'm running out of time here. In fact, I ran out of time, but I still think that I should go over here and answer a couple of questions. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, WineTube is asking what is the difference between fast average and slow average. It's just the parameter. As you have a higher parameter, in this case, the number of periods that are being used in the calculation. If you have a 30 versus a 50, the 30 would be faster because it takes less time to calculate. The 50 is considered slower because it takes 50 periods to calculate, okay? Let's see. Is it possible to set a buy to cover order for profit and a buy to stop order and keep both open using the matrix ladder, or should we use only OSO or OCO in the trade bar? Anis, you can use both applications. You can use the trade bar or you can use the matrix. Both give you the functionality to do OCOs and OSOs exactly where you're looking for. If you want to see a specific example, join me and Ask the Experts and I'll demonstrate that feature. Could you see a question from Nando? Could you organize from high stock value to low stock value? Most definitely. Let me go ahead and remove my filter here. Let me go here and select none. So I see all the stocks again. Just double click on the last or the header of the column for which you want to sort by. So if I double click on last, it'll sort by value, like the last trade price, from in ascending order. If you double click again, it'll sort in descending order. And you can do that by any of the columns here. If you want to sort by net change, double click, that's ascending, double click, that's descending. And if you want to do volume, same. That's ascending, double click again, that's descending. So double click to change the sort of the column, and double click again to change the direction. All right. So that is the end of this class. I want to say thank you for joining me in this presentation. I also want to remind everyone in this class about our TradeStation Masterclass. Let me pull up the class here. Masterclass and Option Star. So this is the Masterclass slide. 1 week of in-person training, and also, the ability to meet professional traders. And this 2.5-day event, Options Stars, which is in California, mark your calendars for both of them. Masterclass is August 5th. Option Stars is October 3rd. This is the in-person. You'll have to travel, though. And we also have the London Masterclass upcoming September 4th. So always look at that. Also look at that in the Masterclass page. The links are right there in the chat. Nico is kind enough to send them over again so that you can see the details. All right. Thank you for your time. And I'll see you in the next class, which is Ask the Experts, in about 25 minutes. And if you cannot make that class, we have Getting Started tomorrow and Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Goodbye, everyone, and have a great afternoon.